Hey everybody, Steven here. So today we're just gonna carry on what we studied yesterday with modeling this house. So I've shown you how to create a slab, add walls and windows. So today I'd like to maybe add some cladding on the walls and the roof, and then we'll go inside and put some furniture. Okay. So for the claddings, I'm going to use CAD image. I'm not sure if country where you are, you will have it available, but that's something that usually comes with ArchiCAD. And we're going to use covering. But of course, you need to select one of the walls. So we're going to go into floor plan. So you press F2. That's a little shortcut. And now we're here. Maybe I can just move out the image to the side. And now what you want to do is to select the walls, the exterior walls. So right now you see I've selected that wall, but I mean you see that green line and this dot, it means that it's part of a group. If you press Alt G, it will select all the elements that are within that group. So those ones, and I think I'm going to select these two as well. Because I want to have different cladding on this one. And I'm going to CAD image, covering, wall covering. And then you will have that type of windows. So what we want to do is first go to, it's this one, covering here, and then you can pick the type of style that you want. So first I'm going to click on this little button so I get a preview of what it looks like. So you get the weatherboard, and then if you wanted to, you could apply some type of brick. And of course you'll need to change the colors, and you can see it updated. If you want, you could have some type like this, and I'm gonna change to wood. But in our case, we're gonna use some weatherboard, and I'm gonna keep them white. And make sure that you can put them in the appropriate layers, and I think it's gonna be wall covering. I'm gonna press OK. So now you get this little eye, which kind of tells you what's the outside. And you can see you can either put in here or out, but of course we're gonna outside, and then you just click and it will automatically create the covering. So now if you go back into 3D, you see that's what we have here. Okay, good. So I think we can do the same thing on the upper levels. Oh, okay. I think here, because it's on a split level, normally this cladding wouldn't go all the way here, because here you would have like a mesh. So one way of doing that is to go back into the settings, and if you go to configuration here, you can actually customize the top or the bottom of the cladding. And here, because I know it's going to be flat, I'm just going to use flat base. And let's see, I think I'm going to move it 900 up. Oops, so you went the other way. So you go back into the settings and you just press a minus, press OK, and it should go to the other side. And as you can see, it doesn't cover all the way because this is actually another wall. But instead of selecting that wall and trying to reapply covering, you can just edit it on the floor plans, and by clicking one of the node here, like the pink one, and you can just stretch it to position. And you can also make it so that it's flush with the wall. Now if you go back here, you can see it's going all the way there. So now what we're going to do is maybe add some of the cladding around the garage. So what I'm going to do is go back into floor plan by pressing F2. And now I'm going to press Alt G because I want to just select a few ones. So normally it's going to be those walls here. But as you can see, this one is just a single wall and we don't want the cladding going all the way there. So what we could do, we could divide it into two walls. Yeah, maybe let's just divide into two walls. So I'm just going to cut it. So I'm going to press Control, hover the wall, and I'm going to click it so it's cut. And I'm going to stretch it that back to here and bring this one on this side here. Okay. And now I can select those walls individually and apply a covering to just those. I'm going to change it to Ship Lap Smooth, and maybe I'm going to something darker. Press OK. Same thing. Make sure that the eye is going on the outside and click. Go back into 3D, and now we have our cladding here. But actually, I want it to be vertical. So what I can do is just select the cladding. You can go in 3D view by pressing Shift and clicking. It allows you to add new elements to your selection. So you just hover the element, and when it kind of turns blue, that's when you click. And when selected, you press Ctrl T to go into the settings, and you just have to change the cladding orientation to 90 degrees. And voila. So now it's vertical. So I'm going to do the same thing on the upper level. I think this area, I'm going to keep it black as well. So let's go into F2, and I'm going to press Ctrl and the arrow key up to move to the upper level. I'm going to move the image, and I'm going to select this wall. Okay, this wall. Sometimes some of the elements, like the roof here, is showing. To avoid clicking them, you could hide that layers. You can see it's set on the design roof layers, and I have this little tab there, selection layer. You can hide that. Now it disappear, and if you want to bring it back, you just have to undo. But let's just click that, and let's click on this. CAD image, covering, wall. Usually it will retain the previous setting, well, the last setting that you use. I'm gonna press OK, and I just realized I didn't change it to 90 degrees. So I have to go back and select them again. I mean, it's also a good thing to group them, so you know this is one group. So if you press Ctrl J, it will group this cladding. So now you can select them at once if you wanted to. 90 degrees. I'm going to 3D, and you can see it's going there. And it's like continuous, so which we want. And okay, one thing here is that we have those walls there. We can actually do the same thing. So go in here, go to upper level again, select those walls and add the cladding, and make sure that's 90. Press OK. Make sure it's on the outside. So now we get a wall. And what's good is that the claddings, I mean, the software knows that it needs to follow that the shape of that wall, because if you go into settings and if you go configurations, it followed the wall top shape. Okay. And if we bring back the roof, that's what it looks like. Okay, looks really clean. Now we're gonna add some of the white cladding on the upper level here. So what I like to do when I'm in 3D, I can just press Alt and hover the cladding, click, so I can absorb. So this will be the setting of the cladding when I go back into it. So let's click on this walls. And CAD image covering, wall covering. You can see it's the white one. Making sure on the outside. Here, as you can see, it asked me if I wanted to put it on the inside. It's because the reference line is actually not correct here. I'm just going to delete that. I mean, it's no big issue, but just to keep it clean, it's better if the outside face is actually facing outside. So like right now it's inside. So I'm just going to select all of them and move that. And then I can just remove them into place. I mean, it's really important when you do covering or when you apply surfaces, like the color of the walls. And then I'm just gonna intersect the corners. And now I can go back, selecting them individually, and add the wall covering. 3D. And that's what it looks like. Okay, usually when you use that tool, you'll have that issue here where the weatherboard doesn't match up. So how I do it is all the weatherboard that's at the bottom, I want to set that the first weatherboard starts from the top. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to reselect this, all the white ones. And I'm going to make sure that to group them. So next time I want to edit all of them, it'll be easier to select. And I go into the settings and I want it to start from the top left. So actually this one is correct. So you can see those ones, like there's a full weatherboard here, but then here you get like a half and even like a smaller one. So the one at the top, you actually want them to start from the bottom. I'll just show you the difference. Like if I select this one in 3D and go into the settings and I change that to, let's say, bottom left, you can see that it shifted and you have a full weatherboard. So it's there's a cleaner look to it. And you can just do the same thing for all of them. So I'm just going to select that in 3D. That's a bit easier to click, turn it around, and make sure you press Shift to add to the selection. Go here and bottom left. Okay, so now it's much nicer. And this one, okay, here we have a little issue because there's this wall here, and I actually don't need to add one in there because that's like an interior wall. So what I could do is just change the height of this wall. I'm just going to the settings and go into configurations, change that to follow top shape, and I'm going to press OK. So right now I can actually just click on this and stretch it to the position that I want to. And here you can see that it's not lining up. So here what you could do is offset it. So covering, and I'm just going to offset, let's say 10. So you can see it moves along. So now it's lining up. And this one also is not really lining up. So what I could do is just maybe try to select the properties of this wall and try to apply on this one. So I'm just pressing Ctrl Alt to have like this arrange tool, and I'm just going to click on this. So now you can see that those two have the same properties, and it shifted down, which is okay because I didn't need it to go into the floor. And now this one. Okay, this one is a bit more tricky. Actually, not really. You could just add. I'm just going to select this, and then I'm going to go into the first floor, add the covering, wall covering. Yeah. And here to be clean, I have to change the corners so that it's flush. And I think this one, I'm just going to make this one here. And this one like that. Okay, I'm going to go into 3D. And same thing here, it doesn't really line up. But then you see here, there's like it doesn't connect properly. So I think on this one, what I actually would do is like to have a cleaner look, because I'd like to have the padding go there. So I'm just going to delete that. And what I'm going to do is make this as a single wall. Just going to go that. I'm going to delete that wall, go into the floor plan, and I'm going to stretch that here. And actually this one needs to be flipped. And I'm going to re-put the window in there like that. Make sure that this connects. I don't know why those walls are not facing the right direction. And you can select them. Select. So now we get that wall as one, and what we can do is hide this one. Where's the wall? So there's a wall here. Below, what I'm going to do is going to remove that. So it's going to be pushed all the way to the top. And you can see the cladding is moved as well. And I'm just going to create the other clad on the top here. Oops. The windows is shifted. Those ones. I think there's another place that I will need to fix later. I'm just going to absorb the properties of that cladding. Covering, wall covering. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, here we got a little problem. It's not lining up there. And because this one is not, so I think I need to offset it by, let's say 10. Oops, wrong direction. Minus 10. Minus 20. I mean, it's really to you, like if you want to be precise. So that was minus 20. And this one, we're going to do the same thing. Bottom left, minus 20. And voila. So let's go to clean. Good. And what's wrong with this one? Too far. And I think it's because I had that door there, so I'm just gonna remove that. And you can have a nice corner here by moving it. Okay. Oh, what's that door doing here? I need to change to -900. I guess we get a cladding, and yeah. Let's bring back the roof. I think there's this part here that I need to move along. Maybe here I'll just create another wall on the roof level. And for that, I just need to turn on the first floor to show as a trace. See how much of it I need to add. Let's go here and bring back the roofs. And I need to make sure that this doesn't touch, so I'm gonna reduce the junction priority. Yep, so it doesn't intersect with the other wall. And now I'm just gonna remove what's gonna be on. So make sure that when you select the bottom part, you can see that's the blue line around the element, which will tell you which part is gonna be kept. And now what we want to do is add this cladding here on this side. I'm just going to go here, and I think you can just absorb the property from the trace reference. Wall covering, and voila. And I'm just going to bring it into place like that. And okay, now we have a little problem here. The top part is going over, so I think it's go back here. This needs to be shifted there. And I'm gonna make it so that we have a clean junction here. And now we need to offset it a little bit. And let's see, 20, 30. Okay, 30. So now it's lining up properly. Oh, oh, I just realized that on the concept that I've done before, I actually have like two types of cladding in here, so I get some black as well. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna select this one, and I think those ones, and this. Go into the setting, and here I need to use this. So it allows you to have different type of cladding, either above the windows, the bottom of the windows, and I think we want split below. Yep, this one. Okay, you can already see that there's, oh, you actually automatically did it. But the main covering, which is like the biggest part where there's no windows, so you can click on here and you can add the cladding that you want, and then you can have the above the windows, and like let's say I'm going to change to yellow, and you can see the one above is yellows, and you could just change any type of cladding you want, but just gonna bring it back to dark. And you can also go to covering here at the bottom of the window. Press OK and see what it looks like. Okay, nice. And everything lines up. Okay, this doesn't line up. I think it's because the windows aren't lining up. I'm just gonna move them around to here. Make sure that you have that when the pen turns black, it means that it's referencing the corner. And oh, good. Nice. And okay, one thing that I like to do is maybe now I need to add some of the roof cladding. I'm gonna bring back the roof, press OK, and same thing. I'm going to this top view, floor plan view. I'm the roof layer, and I need to show the roofs. I'm going to select all of them. Add image, covering, roof covering. It's the same principle as the wall covering. Make sure that you're in correct layer, roof coverings. And let's turn it around, see what it looks like. I don't know if you can zoom in, but yeah, I mean, you get an idea. Cladding, rebit. Yep, that's fine. I can change the Aisha, the barge. So, because our Eve is 300, so this is correct. And you get flashing, you can change the color. You can set the type of gutter you want as well. So right now it's quarter round. And let's just press OK and see what it looks like. So now we get our wall. Everything's automatic. Press S5 and voila. Ooh, we even got downpipes that was set up. That looks great. So like the downpipe here, if you go back into the floor plan view and you click one of the roof cladding, you can see if you click here, you can actually move the downpipe position. And here it's actually not touching the cladding, so I can just stretch it so it touch. And yep, was lagging a little bit. So go back into 3D and it moves a bit. You can also get it in 3D here at the bottom. Shift it up. Yeah. Yeah, so that's how you change the roof cladding, or I mean add the roof cladding. You could easily change the color to it. You just select one cladding and let's say brick red. And yep, not really nice, but let's go back to the original color. I think there was a light gray and press OK. That's how you add roof claddings. What I'm gonna do now is maybe add the deck here. Going back to the ground floor. And ground floor. Is it the ground floor? Yep. And we got a deck here. So I'm just gonna take a slab. I'm gonna change the height to 100's fine. Click here. And let's say 4.2. And then I'm gonna drag it on that side. And we're gonna do 4. So it's not perfect square. Got S5, F5 to go in 3D. And I have to shift it down to minus 900. And actually, I want it to be even more so that it lines up with this. It's like right at the bottom. And now I'm just gonna go back here, and you also have floor covering. So like if you want to do like some type of decking, slab covering actually, and it's the same thing here. You I'm not gonna change the settings, but you could make the slats bigger if you wanted to. And I don't think this one is a floor covering layers, so I'm just gonna create one. Press Control L. It will open the layer windows, and I'm just gonna create a new layer, new design, floor covering. Press OK. Okay. Image, lab coverings. Change that to floor coverings, and press OK. Okay, this doesn't look too straight, so that's why it looks like it doesn't look right. And it's because maybe this one is not at the proper angle. It was like a 179, so just try to move it so it's like 180. But even then, I think I wanted to have that direction. And you could actually take this one here, so it's kind of flush. And maybe I'm gonna reduce that a little bit so that I don't have that little piece there. I'm gonna press M, which activate the measure tool. See how far it is. So 20. So maybe I'm just gonna take that slab. So if you move the slab, it will move the covering as well. And I'm just gonna offset the edges by, let's say, 20. So now, yeah, it's about right. Let's go into 3D. So now we get our decking on top. And maybe what I like to do is to have like the decking kind of flush with the floor there. So I'm just gonna bring that up a little bit. So let's say 135. Oops. 135. It's too much. 15. Yep. And maybe I'm just gonna stretch that so it's flush the bottom part. Okay, good. Because I mean, this in real life would be like beams, and but for now it's okay. It does bother me that I didn't put the wall there under the garage, so maybe I'll do that quickly. I'm going to go back to ground floor, and actually you would have some type of wall right here. Oops, make sure it's this one so I can add more. And okay, and I take the one that I just made, and if I press Alt G, it will select all of them at once, and I want to move them 900. I want them to be only 900 high. Yep. And I actually don't want to see them on the floor plan at that level. So what you can do is you press Control, and I want to show them that only. Now they disappear. Like, because I think when you have the floor plans, it's actually the software cutting the house at a certain level. Right now, I think it's set up to like a maybe 1.5 meter off the ground floor, and because our wall are just 900, so that's why they're not showing in here. And yeah, I don't want to show the roofs as well, so I'm just going to click on the roof, Control T, and I just want them to be visible on the home story, which is the roof story. So now they're not going to show in here. F5, so now we get our walls. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is show you how to add a staircase. The staircase tool is wait, I'm going to show you something else. Press F5. Something really cool is the 3D cutaway. So this, you activate that and you create a new cutting plane, and then you try to select a plane that's like a perpendicular, so like a, don't try to go on the cladding, maybe like the surface like the slab. You press OK, and then you can move it inside like that. I mean, in later video I'll kind of show you how to use that tool to create some nice images, but you click once and then you press finalize, so now you can see yeah, that type of visual. And so what I'm showing you this because I want to show you how to create the staircase, because you can see the entry is here and we're dropping 900, so we need a staircase like maybe 5 steps down, and then you would need another one that's going up and another one that's going up here. So I'm gonna go F2 and I can just click on this so it's not activated anymore, and I'm gonna go into the stair tool. Usually you would have some presets here like that, but for more control I always like to create my own, and we're gonna use this one. It's okay. That's the type of menu you get. I know, because I'm gonna create the one that's here, I know it needs to be 900 high, and then I'm gonna lock it, so this I don't want to be change. You can see that the steps are quite small now, so that's here where you have to change. And I think I can wait, I think if I change here to 5, it will automatically change the height. I mean, it's just like a division, 900 divided by 5, and that's what you get. So I'm just going to lock that, and 290, maybe I'm just going to use 280 with 1000. That's fine. I'm going to press OK, and I'm just going to leave it at stair 1. OK, and you click on the floor plan. That's there. Let's go into 3D so you can see what it looks like. So our stair is right there. See here? You move in. So I just need to put it into place, and I need to drop it 900 as well. Press F2 and select that, and if you press any, like all the black nodes here, click once on it and you get that little window that pops up, and you go to rotate, you click once and that's like the reference line, and then from here you can choose your angle and make sure it's like a 90 degrees so it's square, and then you can press Ctrl D to drag the element and just putting it into place. One thing that I like to do at the beginning is maybe remove the what do you call, the handrail. So I'm just gonna go Ctrl T, edit the staircase, railing settings, and I'm just no railing for now. And I actually don't like to see the purple color there, so I'm just gonna go here and change the fill background to white. It's okay. Okay, and here I got my staircase, and actually this needs to be moved there, and F5, and now I'm just gonna drop it 900. Now we got our staircase. I mean, here if you wanted to, you could like create another wall. Actually, I think I want that wall too. Just gonna ungroup those wall and stretch this one. You can do it in 3D, or but when you do in 3D, make sure that you press shift so that it sticks to that axis, because if you don't, you might move around and yeah, it won't be straight. So press shift, click. Now I get a wall there. Okay, maybe I'll add that wall. So what you do is you need to make it wider. Edit the staircase, and it's okay. And I'm gonna shift it here. Now I'm just gonna select the properties of that wall. I'm gonna create a new one. You can do it in 3D or on 2D, but it's better to do it in 3D because you know how earlier I've changed the view setting so it doesn't show on the floor plan. But yeah, and now I'm gonna use the solid operations. This is gonna be target, and the staircase is gonna be the operator, and we're gonna remove everything that's above it. Wow. Okay, this little things here, that's because of the setting there. I think I need to add the staircase. I think it's this one here. I need it to match the width of that slab, and I think it's like a 250, and it was set up at 300, so I just need to change it to 50. And 250, 250, and 250. Oops, and maybe I'll just make the sides white as well. Make sure it's linked. Yep, all good. And we can do the same thing for the other side. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna make a copy of it. I'm gonna edit it. Edit staircase, because we have two instances of the same staircase. It's they'll ask you if you just want to modify all of them, but then because they all have different heights, I'm just going to say the selected one. So they'll ask you to create a new item. Press save, and I think this one needs to be what? I don't remember the height. I think there's like 7 steps. Oh yeah, 7 steps. And we need to keep that to 280. Pretty okay. Okay. And now if you want, you can mirror it. So it's go the other way. Place it place here, and actually I need to make it smaller. Edit staircase, and back to 1,000. It's okay. And control drag in here. Let's go into 3D. And let's go back to our 3D cutaway. Once like that, you can actually click on it. Like you can see that there's like a plane here. You click here and allows you to reactivate it. And I'm just going to do it here. press finalize. And here you can actually select your staircase. And I'm going to remove the minus 900. And I can see that I'm missing a few steps. I think I need 2 more. In 3D, I can just press Ctrl D, Ctrl T, edit the staircase, and I'm going to add 2 more steps. And keep it up to 280, and press OK. Just lock it so it doesn't change again. Okay, okay. And it's a bit too high. Oh, I know. That's because I've added normally I would remove this like little wood stuff. Let's go into the settings. And maybe I'll pick this one. Actually, didn't do what's supposed to do. Let's go in here, and I'm gonna create a section because I need to know the exact height of it. Section. Good. Open settings. Okay, it's not lining up. So press M to activate the measure tool, and that staircase needs to be 1550. Or what we could do is 1550. 1550. Oops. So it doesn't change because we actually locked some of the values. So we need to unlock this one. And 1550. So it needs to be 172. Okay. So now it's gonna be flush. And I guess, I mean, you would like to have the same value for the other stairs, which means that this floor wouldn't need to be so low. But okay, I think for now it's okay. And maybe this, we can stretch it down. It doesn't pop up after. And here in 3D, we can also move this. Offset. Yeah. Okay, so now we got this staircase. And I'm gonna make sure that this one is similar to the other one. Okay. And ooh, you can see here it's touching. So normally this, I should have a staircase there as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna Control C to make a copy. I'm gonna go into the upper levels, and this needs to be shifted. This one. I'm gonna make a copy. So now I'm gonna have the same staircase at that level, and if I take that section line and I can drag it, so Control D, line up to here, open the settings, and you can see now I have the room height 2 meters. Oh yeah, that's maybe I should move it a little bit this side. He's not gonna hit his head. Yeah, 2.1. And oh, but then it's super close to here. Okay, doesn't matter. I'm just gonna put it back here and make sure I name it properly. But it should be about 2.1. So, but we're not talking about design on this one. I'm gonna press Control T and change the width of that. So just to select it, and it's there 3. 20,000. It's okay. And move it here. Oh, you can see here the staircase below is showing on the upper level, which in some cases you want it. Like for example, this one you would want to see the staircase that's below, but this one we don't need to. So I'm just gonna home story only. Okay, it's good. We get our staircase now. Oh, I just realized I forgot to put a roof on this one. And we're gonna do that quickly. So I'm just gonna go back to the first floor and go back up. Select the roof covering. I'm just gonna hide it so I can just absorb the properties of that roof so they're all the same. I'm gonna go back to the level below, and here I'm gonna use the ground floor as reference so I know the width, roughly the width of the porch entry. And I'm gonna do this. I'm pressing shift to keep it straight. This is the bottom part. It's gonna go up. That's gonna be the bottom, and I'm just gonna do that for now. And I need to shift it a bit out. So there's like a little overhang, and let's do 300, and it's gonna go 300 that side, and maybe 300 that side as well. And I can reshape it by adding some nodes there. Offset the edge. Control Z, like in most software, to undo, and I'm just gonna shift it back. Let's go into 3D, and we need to move it up. And for the pitch, I think maybe 10's enough. Just gonna shift it manually, so I'm pushing shift again just to make sure it lines up, and maybe a little bit more, like 100. Good. Now I can go back up, maybe re-show the cladding, and so I'm gonna hover it, absorb the properties, go back here, the roof, and apply the covering. And because I absorb the property, it's gonna be similar. Press OK, and I get my roof. You can see that the downpipe might not be in the best position possible. Just gonna shift it a little bit. I'm just gonna reference it, and right there, and I'm gonna put this here. Okay. Might not be the best place to put it, but I mean, I could put it here, but it's okay. And maybe I'll need some type of post as well. So another element that you can use, it's similar to adding a wall, but you can use your column tool. And on this one, if you go into the settings, you can have square or rectangular columns, rounded, or a specific profile. But in this case, I'm just going to use this one, 100, and because they are linked, so whatever value you put here is going to go there. If you want to make a rectangle, you just have to click this to unlink it, and press OK, tick, and now you can put it in place. And you can see it's going over, so you could just stretch it back, or like put minus 200. So now we get columns, and yeah, it's looking good. I think I'm gonna stop here for today. In the next video, maybe we'll kind of add like a ground floor, like a mesh, so that our house can rest on something. But looks pretty good. I mean, if you have any questions, just put in comment, and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you. See